This is AP Stidham of AP and Kelly as we see it live in Baton Rouge. Here to cover the UCLA Bruins from the Big Ten versus the LSU Tigers from the SEC. Our very special guest to preview the game is
JP Shadrick with Touchdown Radio Network. Nice to see you, AP.
Hey, JP and AP. That sounds like we're brothers or cousins or something. So, which team would you like to start with first? Which has impressed you the most?
Well, I mean, this is a game that's all about the Tigers today, I think. How do they respond from a sluggish start last week? Obviously, they responded with a win in that game in South Carolina, but how do they carry it over? Might be the first time today we see the full arsenal on offense with the wide receivers out there. Excited to see how they throw it around, honestly. I think they have a chance to put a big number up today, and I think they need to. There's been a lot of criticism around here, even after the way they performed in that game last week, coming back on the road in the SEC for a win. Expectations are high around here in Baton Rouge, and rightly so. They've had some success around here over the years. So I think this is more of an LSU mindset today. How do they perform? How do they show off a little bit today in this game?
Football, college football at least, is a quarterback-centric game. How has Garrett Nussmeier performed so far?
I mean, he stands in there. I mean, and I like the fact it's a rarity. He waited his turn here for a number of years, and you don't see that a lot in college football these days. And at least early in the season, okay, he's had some success. Let's see him with a full arsenal in there. It's going to be a different feel, obviously, from Jaden Daniels running all over the place and a dual threat. That's not Nussmeier at all. He's going to stand in that pocket, even if there's an opening to run, most likely he's not going to go. So I'm excited to see him slinging around. He's got a veteran offensive line in front of him to give him time to do it, and could be a big day today for him as well.
They like to pass the football, even though they have the two offensive tackles that have been here a while and are going to be drafted in the NFL. So the running game, they lost John Emery Jr. So what's going on with the running game for LSU?
Well, I'll tell you what, last week the kid goes up for 98 and 2 touchdowns. That's a good start. I'm curious if he actually gets the true start today in the game. We'll find out when they run out there. But he'll have some contributions, and I think that's a bright spot for this team. If they get something going in the running game with the freshman Caden Durham, I mean, then they've got a really balanced offense, and that could make things even more explosive for LSU. If you're worried about the run, bringing an extra defender in, Nussmeier with those 3 receivers, look out.
UCLA, Ethan Garbers, he transferred from Washington, correct?
Yeah, he was there 1 year, didn't play. And he's kind of the same story as Nussmeier. He's been waiting in the wings there for a couple of years when Dorian Thompson-Robinson was the starter at UCLA and playing really well and some really good teams for the Bruins. He's now in the NFL for a couple of years. So he was the starter last year, was injured a couple different times, just banged up, wasn't right. And they're, at least at UCLA, they're hoping that this is the year he's out there the full season and can contribute all the way through. Now, the trick is everything around him. They've lost a lot of players. Their starting tight end going into fall camp is injured and out for the year with an ACL injury, Habermill. The receivers are a little unproven. What can they do in the running game? The head coach wants to run the ball, but
obviously, Deshaun Foster.
But the leading rusher is the quarterback right now through 2 games. So, I mean, and their leading receiver is the tight end and the running back. So this is a work in progress, to say the least, I think, for UCLA, and it's really a bigger picture look at the Bruins. I mean, this is going to be a tough game for them to, I think, for them to hang in 60 minutes today, just because of the talent gap.
Yes.
But for Deshaun Foster and UCLA, this is a bigger picture. How do they manage the environment today? They're working on their program as a whole. What is the feel of that program moving ahead? And it will be at some point in Deshaun Foster's likeness. It's hard to do it on the fly. I mean, the guy just got here in February after everything is said and done.
Right, the 2 defenses and the kicking game on both sides, if the game is close.
Well, I mean, the defense of LSU has veteran star players who have been around here for a few years, and Perkins at linebacker, and of course the defensive player of the week on the defensive line, pass rusher. I mean, those. If it comes down to a game where UCLA has to throw it a lot, I like LSU's chances on defense the way they're playing right now, and they have something to prove as well, because they did give up some big plays last week at Columbia. So I think that will be priority number 1. No big plays against this defense, whether it's in the running game or over the top, and then manage it from there.
UCLA's defense, they're pretty good against the run.
Well, we'll see. We're about to find out today, I think, right? Because, like I said earlier, this offensive line for LSU is a veteran, talent-laden group.
Yes.
Leatu Latu's in the NFL now. He was the big defensive end.
Very good.
He was fantastic the last couple of years at UCLA. How do they manage that and who's the next wave of guys there? I don't know if they have that as of yet. They haven't quite fingered those guys. So this is it's a big road environment today, and it's a tough stretch coming up for UCLA too. Today, then they're back home at the Rose Bowl next week against Oregon, top 10 team. Then they're on the road at Penn State, another top 10 team.
Yes.
Okay, welcome to the Big Ten. This is what it is.
Thank you very much. Hey, we really appreciate it. This is AP Stidham of AP and Kelly as we see it here in Baton Rouge with the UCLA Bruins and the LSU Tigers about to kick off later this afternoon. We'd like to thank our guest,
JP Shadrick, Touchdown Radio Network, touchdownradio.com. Check it out.
Thank you so much.